I now have the honor and the privilege to invite on the dais a gentleman who is a crusader in ethics in the medical profession. My reference goes to none else than the President, Punjab Medical Council, Dr. G.S. Grewal. May I request you please occupy a seat on the dais? Amidst a floral welcome and a reverberating applause, ladies and gentlemen. Today's evening has been possible because of the concerted efforts of all office bearers of the Indian Society of Anesthesiologists. May I welcome onto the dais the Vice President of ISA, Dr. A.L. Meenakshi Sundaram. Ladies and gentlemen, in days and years to come, he will be remembered as a crusader who has shown utmost intolerance towards corruption and indiscipline in the medical field. In his journey of this fight against corruption, he faced many hurdles, many protests. But did he lose the battle? No. He went on in his war against corruption in medicine. To a great extent, this gentleman has been able to eradicate the menace of ghost faculty in various medical colleges. He is considered to be a preserver of ethics in the medical practitioners. So much so that he was amongst the first people who brought this to the notice of the Prime Minister's office, and he was acknowledged for the same. Whatever bit of cleansing is left, I'm sure it will definitely be done during his tenure as the Punjab Medical Council President. May God be with him in this quest. Shubh karman te kabho na taru, jab jaun laru, nischay kar apni jeet karu. Walking on the path of righteousness, may I never be scared. If I go in for war, may I come back victorious, is what his motto. He is the grandson of a freedom fighter, a nephew of a martyr, and the founder member of the GNE Institute of Engineering and SGPC. To proclaim the trade exhibition open, I have the honor and the privilege to invite on the dais the President, Punjab Medical Council, Dr. G.S. Grewal, to please come forward.
Thank you, Sunana. All the dignitaries on the dais and the dignitaries in the audience, I have been now given such a label. Even if I don't want to be a crusader, I will have to be a crusader. In fact, I joined, let me share my story of Medical Council. I joined in July 2014, and I, being a practitioner and ex-PG, I was aware what is ailing the profession. And two major things which were bothering me was medical corruption. And medical corruption had two aspects. One was the pharma corruption, second was the cuts and commissions. And third most important aspect was the downgrading of the medical education standards in the newly coming up medical colleges. By that I mean is the emergence of the ghost faculty, the people who would just go and put themselves as a faculty but never visit there afterwards. It was a big challenge. We got everything documented, and for 2 nights I could not sleep. But then I thought either I quit or I fight it out. I made a lot of noise. I must thank to the national media who gave a lot of coverage to us, and the word did go around the country very well. In the pharma corruption, the problem arises from the difference between the MRP and the retail price. In most of the drugs, the retail price is almost 1/6 or 1/10 of the MRP. That gray area is the money which is being used to corrupt the persons who promise to promote their sales. In that context, I must congratulate the Secretary of the DMC, who has reduced the price of the drugs in his hospital, which are cheapest in the whole state at the moment. And his action has been followed by the Baba Farid University of Human Sciences, as well as Sri Guru Ramdas Institute of Medical Sciences. If we have few more like Mr. Prem Gupta in the country or the state, I think we will be able to control. I remember after I got this much, I had a lot of hurdles to face, maximum from my own minister. He was bought over by all those people, and he wasn't letting me function. I said, hell with you, I will fight it out so long I'm alive. I wrote a letter to the Prime Minister, he replied, he encouraged me, and things are going to happen, let me assure you. Nobody thought of demonetization, but it happened. Corruption and black money will have to be weeded out. And the biggest sin, I would say, is the medical corruption, because all the money which come to the healthcare center is from only one source, that's the patient. And we all have learned from the patients, starting from the dead one to the living one and then to the diseased one, and we have earned out of him also. Whatever standard of living we have today, we have got it from the patients. All the big buildings of the medical institutions which we have, they too have come from the patients' money. And they deserve maximum respect and maximum cooperation from us and maximum benefit so that healthcare become affordable from them. I had a information that in the present scenario, about 4 crore people go below the BPL because of out-of-pocket expenses on the health. No one wants to fall sick, no one wants to eat a medicine, but it's a compulsion. So if it is a compulsion, I think we have to stand by the people who are under compulsion. So this is the appeal I have to give from my counsel to all of you. We have people who are hooked up. It is like a judicial process, it takes time. But nobody can think that he is above law. That's what the Prime Minister also says. I am very lucky that we have a Prime Minister of this caliber at the moment. There had been Prime Ministers earlier also. Everybody talked of Garibi Hatao, but if things are followed up and persisted, India will change. This is my... Thank you very much.
After Dr. Grewal's deliberation, I'm reminded of a short story, and I'm going to take this point of privilege to share it with you. Once there was a lady, her husband left her. The lady was naturally very sad. So much so, she wanted to end her life. Somebody told her, there is a very wise sage. He's up in the mountains, you should go and talk to him. So the lady thought, well, let me go and speak to the wise sage. She travels the distance, she walks up the mountain. Finally, she reaches the sage. She goes ahead and she says, my husband left me. I spent the greatest, most voluminous years of my life with him, and now he's run away with a younger woman. Please tell me what to do. The sage doesn't say anything. The sage offers her a cookie. He says, madam, please have the cookie. She has the cookie. After about a minute, the sage asks her, do you want another one? She says yes. And then, in retrospect, she feels, she understands what the sage is trying to tell her. She says, now I understand. What you want to tell me is that human nature is greedy, and that you always want more than you already have. I understand, wise sage, I understand what you want to say. The sage looks at her and he says, No, madam. What I'm trying to tell you is that you are fat and you need to lose weight. So Dr. Grewal might not have a straightforward way, might not mince his words, but he will have a straightforward way to tell you what you should do, just as the wise sage. So we are with you in this endeavor. And inshallah, the day is not far when our country will change for the better. Thank you very much. That, I presume, was for me.